Hi guys, this short clip is just to show you a few useful things that are available for debugging your applications. So as you can see, I've created a little string tester application that might look slightly familiar, which doesn't have much functionality within it so far, but it loads up. Got some methods we can choose from, and then we can hit the test button, but disappointingly when I'm hitting the test button nothing's happening, so we're not getting any output. So, as I said, we got past the point where we've got syntax errors, which are things that would stop the code compiling, so the project wouldn't run. So all that's left are going to be errors with how we've called methods or arguments we pass to things, and that sort of thing. So semantic errors are left, and this is really how you sort of find what those semantic errors are. So as I said, we know roughly that it's getting somewhere because we've got something populating the method combo box. It's just that when we try and test that method, nothing's happening. So if we go and have a look at the code, then the way that I would approach this is I'd pop a little breakpoint, which you either do by clicking on the left-hand side of the screen, or here there's a toggle breakpoint, or F9 is your shortcut key. So if we then, with that breakpoint on the code, if we then retest it, then the code execution will stop at this line for you. To allow you to have a bit of a look at what's going on. So as you can see at the bottom left hand corner of the screen here, you've got your autos, so that will tell you the values of sort of useful looking things. So we can see, for example, here that the value of the input text box is reverse it, so that's good. And then we can sort of have a little look at other things, so you can hover over values to see what they are. There's various ways of allowing the code to progress, so the debug menu is your friend really. So this step into and step over. What step into would do is if you've got the code for the MT264 string tester in the project, then it would allow you to go through and debug that method. Step over, which is what I'm going to use now, basically will mean that it will ignore the sort of nuts and bolts of the method. It'll execute the method, and then, for example, here, if I hover over result, we can see result is an empty string. So somehow something's going wrong with my test method. Now, there's various ways that you can work out what's going on with the test method. So I think my first approach would be to bring up the immediate window, which I just did there using Control G, but it's on the debug windows. There's immediate window there, Control G. And what the immediate window allows you to do is it allows you to query things. So, for example, I could, so we need to do the action, so the action first, and then we're going to use string. So that runs that value, and then so that runs the method, and then we could query result to see what's held in result. So that's working, which is good. So then we can come back and just have a look at what's going on in my event, see why it wouldn't be working. And then if we have a look at what we're passing in and compare it to what we should be passing in, then you can see that we're passing, because the test method takes two strings, it can't work out which way round they need to go itself. Basically what we're doing is we're passing it in the wrong order. Swap those over. So if we stop the code, switch those two over, and if we run it again, it works. Again, we're going to step over, so that's Shift F8. And then when we have a little look at the result, we know it's working. So we take the breakpoint off, and then we know that we've tested that. So again, and yeah, it's going to reverse it. And you can put as many breakpoints as you want in. As I said, there's a step into as well. So if you wanted to do the step into, code execution stops there, and then you either use F8 or you've got your step into menu option, and that takes you into the method code, and then you can use your F8 or your Shift F8, check the code executes in the right order. So then you can use your immediate window all the way through to query values of things. So for example, if I wanted to, we could have a look at what's in the output text box. So you can run any sort of methods in here or querying values in here. So I use the immediate window quite a lot. Breakpoints are quite useful if you know roughly where your code is going wrong. So again, if we were loading up our form and the combo box wasn't populating, you put a breakpoint on the for each loop because you know roughly that's where your error is going to be. And then you can step through and just examine the values of things as you go to work out what's going wrong. And then hopefully you should be able to work it out. So that's really sort of a very quick introduction on how to find and fix semantic errors in your code. So there's the watches that you can look at. There's the immediate window on Control G to look at, and then there's Shift F8 and F8 to step into and over code. If you're using the F8 to step over, when you've gone past the problem part of code and you just want it to keep executing, then F5 or the little play button works as it normally does. So hopefully that's useful, and you can sort of use that to help you find out problems with your code once you've got it compiling. So thanks very much for watching, and see you at my next clip. Thanks very much.